Hi everyone. The market research in the marketing management, marketing management, the most important topic in the marketing management, chapter 33 is a market research. Market research is wonderful, most important session in the business, even IGCSE, even AS level, you can find this information, market research. So what is research? Researching about, finding something, gathering information and then analyzing and then presenting some kind of information, and you're going to use that information for the decision making. So there are, in this lesson, we are going to talk about the purpose of market research, and then you're going to talk about the purpose and the understand the methods of research, like a primary research methods, such as survey, questionnaire, focus group, observation, test marketing, and understand the methods of secondary research, like internet market reports, government reports, and everything. And also at the end, we are going to find out the social media marketing and also qualitative market research and imports of the reliability of market research and everything. So first of all, I'm going to do some kind of we are entering into this one with the case study. Sri Lankan case study, tourism in Sri Lanka. You can see after a 26-year civil war, which finally ended in 2009, and the huge destruction of the 2004 tsunami have had negative impact on the numbers of tourists visiting Sri Lanka. Recently, though Sri Lanka has recovered as a tourist destination, and in 2015, a total of 1.7 million, actually 1,798,410 for the record tourists visited the country, and the tourism industry has been moving fast. And then you can see, and Sri Lanka is regarded as the top up and coming destination uh, for the tourism. So you can see this figure show the number of tourists arrival in Sri Lanka from 2015 to 2016. So you can see this. This is 2016. The yellow color shows, and then 2017 the figures you can see is increasing trend. Actually, yeah, before this, before 2019, actually, so far, still the Sri Lanka is the number 1 tourism destination in the world according to Lonely Planet magazine. You can see Sri Lanka is the number 1 tourist destination because there are like a lot of areas are there, new situations are there, like places are there to visit, right? For the foreigners from down south, from the you can see like nice, like a beach. A lot of places are there. If you go to the Arugambe, the surfing, and also you can see the candy, the ancient cultural things, and Anuradhapura, Polanaru, and also the different climate you can feel like the small, like England in Nuvarelia. So many things, so many places to visit, biodiversity, jungles, and safari tours and museums, and so many places are there to visit. So Sri Lanka is very huge, culturally, and also as we have huge rich heritage and rich culture is there to observe. That's why it's become the Sri Lanka is the number 1 tourist destination in the world in 2019 to so far current situation. Because of the COVID-19 situation, the pandemic thing, it was actually actually entire market in the entire industry actually impact because of that. But you can see this chart is 2016-17, we are in the peak level, and we expected now, like if anything nothing happened in pandemic or so far, Sri Lanka will be, I think now we can earn like a lot of money out of the tourism, right? Yeah, so let's go to the other side. You can see this as a tourist destination, Sri Lanka provides diverse range of attraction. It says it offers beautiful beaches, a rich culture, interesting history, a wide range of different accommodation, a vibrant city in Colombo, and unique dining experiences, right? And Sri Lanka also appeals to the seeking adventure with jungle, rich biological diversity, and wildlife. The Sri Lanka fauna includes the leopards and elephants. The survey shows that the adventure travel has been growing over 65% since 2009. It is now a US dollar 263,000 million industry worldwide and still growing. Figure 33.2 shows the adventure seekers prepared for their last trip. You can see this is another research finding. You can see did not prepare for going, right? 12%. Book through travel agents, 17%. That's dropped a little bit because that's why the main reason the travel agents industry, like Thomas Cook actually has failed. Because of that, no one wants to actually book through travel agents. Sometimes they wanted to book directly from the bookings.com, and there are so many facilities are there. Book through tour operator, 17%. Purchase guidebook, 25%. visited travel agent 25%, consulted newspapers and magazines 26%, and watched travel program about the destination 28%, booked airfare or hotel online 36%. So it's a big number. And then consulted friends and family 64%. That's true always. It's better to get some recommendation and go. And also research online 69%. That is, you can see this is how the people who actually the travelers they actually wanted to uh, do their research part and their services. Mainly you can see online is actually increasing trend. Is there all the facilities are taking on. Okay. They're asking some couple of questions. What was the size of the Sri Lankan tourist market in 2015? They're asking what is expected to happen to the size of market in 2016. And then how might a tour operator selling adventure holiday in Sri Lanka use the information, this information, figure 33.2, and then this figure, and then asking, discuss other information might be useful to European tour operators selling holidays to Sri Lanka. Right. So yeah, so you can see the numbers mainly. You can see the 2015 and 16 the numbers. You can see if you go to the previous figure, you can see the numbers 2015 and 16 the tourism numbers in Sri Lanka. 2016 and 2015. If we add them up, we can find out the numbers like this. I'll show you. In 2000. What is the size of Sri Lankan tourist market 2016 and 2015? 15 is a total of, they mention in the case study, right? 1,798,410 tourists arrived in Sri Lanka. Asking what is expected to happen to the size of this market in 2017, they expected the size of the market appears to be growing in every month in 2017. The number of tourists arriving in Sri Lanka is higher than the corresponding month in the previous year. It's increasing. It's actually increasing trend. That's why like we actually going to open up new hotels also. Still some 5-star level hotels being built and completed everything. Now we are waiting to opening. For example, one example I can say the Ritz Carlton, the famous hotel international hotel chain Ritz Carlton already right 2 hotels with 700 rooms, right, with 2 hotels in two locations in Negombo and Miris already they finished their construction part. Then they are waiting to grand opening, but because of the pandemic they postponed in their opening ceremony like that. Because of why? Because of ever increasing tourism thing. So you can find out that mainly the tourism industry is increasing very rapidly, especially in Sri Lanka as a #1 world very famous destination for the tourism. Right. So then question number 3 asking how might this adventure operator selling adventure holidays in Sri Lanka uses information in the given figure. So you can see that we find out that different people have different choices to operate. They search online, they book online, and they ask recommendation from the other friends and family members. So this is how we have to write an answer. The information in this case state that adventure travel has been growing at over 65% year since 2009. So it is now US dollar 263,000 million industry and is still growing. It's still growing. And then this would be encouraging news for or tour operator selling adventure holidays. The information in figure 33.2 might suggest a tour operator that an online presence would be very important when attracting customers. For example, 69% of adventure travelers research adventure holidays online. This means this is how you explain. Give the application point and then you have to elaborate that sentence. 69% of the adventure travelers research online. Look at the development. This means the tour operators, this means that the tour operators could advertise its holidays on appropriate website. The data also shows the adventure tourists are more likely to book their own trips online, right? This is more like the tourists are more likely to book their own trips online rather than visit a travel agent. That's how we have to develop some answer by looking at that information. And also this information also support the view that an online presence would be important. That's the main reason I researched about the reasons behind the failure of the Thomas Cook. And I found out the online presence was not that much strong enough. They are still expected to people to visit their offices and they want to talk face to face and they booked sometimes over the phone. So, but online platform must be stronger, especially like these days. You can see everything we are doing online, banking online, classes online, right? Exams online, so everything online. Even this bookings and everything is simple task to do online, right? And the next question they ask is like a discussion part. So, but these are the points that you can mention in the right, that point. So this question can be, I can moderate this, discuss the information like useful to European tour operator, right? So what are the, explain something, analyze questions. So not like a poster thing. So we can, this question can be moderated like that. What are the areas that you can analyze on this information of the tour operator? What are the usefulness of this information? What are the advantages of using this information? You can see this could be many responses to the question. Some examples like the age profile of tourists in Sri Lanka. So we can find out what the age profile is, that like, the teenagers is at, like a 2030s or 3040s or 4050s or 50 and above. So we can find out the age categories, mainly the who are the, like what kind of age, like, the age categories, sometimes then we can say adventure sports lovers are mainly the young people, like 60 plus people. Normally they're reluctant to go to adventure sports and all that thing, so that we can get some kind of idea regarding that. And also the countries that those interested in Sri Lanka live in, there is the particular, like, European countries, any the countries that those interested in Sri Lanka, like, we can find out who are the, like, what are the, countries that most number, you can see like most number of tourists are normally coming from, like Russia, Germany, India, right? And European countries, especially like, Italy, France, UK, those countries. That's why. And also the type of accommodation for tourists prefer when visiting Sri Lanka. Of course, because of the exchange rate benefit, I think the most of the tourists they wanted to. I think majority of the, like 80% of the tourists they may stay in at 5-star hotels. That's why wherever you go, there are 5-star hotels are there island wide. If you go to the, for down south, so many 5-star hotels. And if you go to other side in Hambantota, there are so many 5-star hotels are there, including Shangri-La. And down south, you can see Marriott Hotel. And if you come to Colombo, so many 5-star hotels are there, the Cinnamon hotels and the Hilton hotels, Taj, and so many. So, and if you go to Nuvareli also, there are 5-star hotels. And then you go to Upcountry. And then if you go to the Jaffna side, there are, so everywhere, every region in Sri Lanka, there are 5-star hotel, but even 4-star, 3-star also available. So based on your preference, you can find out what kind of like a package, especially for a foreigner. I think it's very cheaper to Sri Lanka to visit, because now for $1, I think 200 plus, it's like 205 or 200 rupees you can exchange. That means like an average 5-star hotel rate is around, like for per night, like it's around like say $50. So or like, it's less than that because of some of the 50% discount sometimes they're giving these times. So it's actually a good deal, because for a 5-star hotel in the USA, even you can't stay for that price. So you need to at least $150 you have to spend. But here, like about 30% of that cost. $50 is very cheaper price, cheaper rate for in that case. And also the reasons why people choose Sri Lanka as a destination. What are the reasons? Is that culturally, when they want to investigate our culture, they want to investigate our food, they want to investigate our biodiversity, they want to investigate. I think most of the time, like Sri Lanka, especially during the July, I think because of that Asala Perahara, the Kandian kingdom, the Kandi, that the Perahara is there, people are attracted to that event. And also mainly because of, I think, the nice beaches in Sri Lanka, just nice beaches are there for relaxation. And mainly our biodiversity, and then especially the holidays, like trips to the jungles and the safari tours and everything. I think that's the main tourist attractions in Sri Lanka. And also how people book their trips to Sri Lanka, we can find out like 63% of the people booked online, and 17% from the travel agents so far. Those are the things that we can find. I think it's a good brainstorming session, the beginning of this lesson, to actually find out. This is the market research. The purpose of this idea is to gather information about that thing for a person. By looking at this article, you can information like this information can be gathered, right? The purpose of market research is, you can see the involved gathering. Market research definition is the collection, presenting, analysis, or gathering, analyzing and presenting information related to the marketing. I told you it's GAP, gathering, analyzing and presenting information regarding the marketing and consumption of goods and services. So market research can be expensive, but business are prepared to meet the cost because the benefits, right? So mainly we see the main one of the purpose of market research. There are three: collection, presenting, analyzing. So one purpose of market research is to identify and understand customer needs. You can see by doing a market research, we can find out the customer's needs. We can understand the customer needs, because always it is not a hypothetical assumptions. Always we can do some research on market, and we can straight away they can ask some question from them, and we can ask, okay, what do you like, what do you prefer, what kind of price do you prefer, product you prefer, what kind of a location you prefer to purchase this place, and what kind of promotion method would you like to like advertising method, like a medium you actually want to know, like that. So this information, product, price, place, promotion, everything you can gather. For example, they're given a good example here. If someone let's say a person who actually wanna let's say a product feature, let's say a electronic item, you have to talk about normally a model, design, color, durability, right? Like how long you can use it, right? That's a durability, means staying good in condition for a long time, right? Like efficiency, performance, ease of handling, ease of storage. These things might be is important. Customers want to know everything. Like customers they like to have example like a vacuum cleaner like this. So you're expecting easy to store, easy to handle, easy to store, durability, and all. So once this data has been gathered, the discussion can design a product that meets the specific needs of customers. The data gathered by market researchers needs to be detailed as possible. If possible, the business need to anticipate customer needs, and this means they try to predict that customers want in advance, that respond changes very quickly. So businesses operate in rapidly changing environment and have to keep up with the latest trends, fashion, technology, and design. Okay, the second one you can see not to identification, even to identify the gaps in the market also is important. We can actually identify that one not from the customers, even like by analyzing from customers, we can directly ask those questions what they want. And also regarding the market, we can find out the untapped areas, like there is a demand, but still that demand is not fulfilled by the businessman. That is called the gaps in the market normally. So we can find out that also from the market research. That was another one of the identification, one of the benefit in the market research. We call finding untapped market. Finding untapped market, that is not easy, but gathering information from people might help. For example, like some but kind of innovations and everything, we don't need to do it, because innovation means like that is not exactly actually we don't even need to do a market research for that, because it's innovation, because that's never expected. People are not expected that before. It's like a kind of surprise. So gaps in the market is really important to identify. For example, we want to know, okay, now there's a lot of restaurants, but we are going to find out, okay, there's a demand for vegan restaurants nowadays, but there is lack of vegan restaurants in the world. So we can find, okay, if we start a vegan restaurant, then there'll be good demand for that. Or even niche, that's a niche market kind of a thing. But if a restaurant guy who's actually having a restaurant, he can open up another like a small area or another dish he can open up for vegan people. This is like in the restaurant, this menu for vegetarian, this menu for vegans, like that. In a hotel, you can actually do that thing. So it's another thing. Another advantage is reduce the risk. It's always reduce the risk of doing decisions like setting up business. Is launching a new product is very risky. As markets get larger, as competition get fierce. So therefore, always the market research, by doing a market research, is reduce the risk of failing. Reduce the risk of failing. It's like a market research is like having a torch with you. So it's always give you some kind of a glance, give you kind of like a idea, a vision for you, where you have to go, what are the areas that you have to go, what are the things that you have to follow, everything. So it's kind of it's reduce the risk of business failure. That also keep in mind. Like give me an example. Amazon Fire Stick. Yes, Amazon, that the phone was Amazon is a powerful brand name, but they launched a Fire phone in 2014. However, after like 1 year later, it was improved. You can see removed that from the market because sales did not meet the expectations, and it cost the company about like 170 million US dollars. The mobile phone market is highly competitive, you can see, and making it difficult for new products. Some customers also felt that the phone design also for to focus on the sales of Amazon on services, and the price was strong. So these are the things like normally sometimes after market research only can find out those. But actually, if you do the market research beforehand, you can stop these kind of failures. And the last one, you can see the informed business decisions about that thing. You can get an informed business decision. When you're making a decision beforehand, you can get some information regarding that. You can get a good idea before you make the decision. You can get all the informations beforehand. You can prepare a nice decision, a successful decision, and you can run the business without failing. Okay, like pricing decisions and everything, they have given examples, right? Okay, now we are going into like a better, like a pricing, like mainly market research methods. Market research method number one method is a primary research, now we call a field research. Field research. That means we are calling that field research because you can go to the market and we can collect that information by ourselves, right? Field research. Field research. Sometimes we call it normally it's a primary research because that collected by the marketing department, by collected by the business itself. So then they have to actually normally they have to spend some time, they have to spend some money on that. They have to go to field, they have to go to market, and they have to collect that information. That's called the methods of a first one, the primary market research. So here we go. The main methods of prime market research is number one, you can see the questionnaire. The questionnaire method is mainly to give you some idea for the that you are getting. You have to prepare some kind of a questions, and then you have to gather that information through the questionnaire. You have to give it to the people, customers. So it's a written method. It's a written questions, printed versions probably. So it's a very common method. So questionnaires can be distributed by hand, by electronically, a way of email. You can email the questionnaire to people. You can use like a social media, and you can make a questionnaire through social media, through WhatsApp. But the thing is, the questionnaire, these responses are, these days people are very, very reluctant to fill this, right? Very, very reluctant to fill this because this saves additional time. They don't want to read, and it's like a questionnaire because they, right? They actually very tired of filling this. That's why you have to be very smart. As questionnaire when you're filling, it should be very simple question you have to give them, and you have to provide the information. Like it should be in a leisure time, for example. You can do it like before you checking some hotel or something. After you actually when you check out some hotel, sometime during the flight, because that's the time there's time to relax. So you can give them in that time, like in the hospital also. After the patient going to check out, so you can come and you can fill those things questionnaire. You can tell them to fill and you can type or something questionnaire. So it should be a balanced, open and closed question should be. There's the qualities of a questionnaire, but in Cambridge edX examination, this is like a very gray area in syllabus. The qualities of a questionnaire, they have very like a very like a they haven't like a tested this area that much. They ask questionnaires, but the qualities of a questionnaire they haven't tested that much. But it's a good area to test the balance. What are the good qualities of a questionnaire? Right? Should we have balanced, open and closed questions, and then should be content clear and simple questions. Not to avoid the jargon. What is a jargon? Jargon is a word and expression used by a particular profession. Like accounting people only know what is debit and what is credit, right? They are the one who know what is bank reconciliation, right? A normal person in a society, they don't know what is the meaning of debit, what is the meaning of credit, what is a bank reconciliation, right? What is a general journal, what is a debit note. So those information is known by the people who are doing in accounting profession. So that's why, so always try to avoid this jargon. Then, and also avoid the poor grammar and bad spelling, and not contain leading questions, right? Leading questions are those that suggest a certain answer. So you should avoid these things because otherwise the result will be biased. And also try to be short. We always call short and sweet. So the questionnaires can be used in different situations. So these are the four qualities of a questionnaire. And questionnaires can be used in different forms, as I told you earlier, by post you can send, but I don't know how many people are using this postage system. It's very, the old school method, right? So a lot of people actually they're not giving their responses again to this postal survey. Telephone interview, you can over the phone you can collect information from the people. That also a lot of people reluctant to answer. Some unexpected calls, so sometimes unknown numbers they don't want to answer. That's telephone interview. And also personal interview is another thing that we have to find a person, like you have to give some allocated time, location, everything, and questions also you have to send beforehand. Then only you can do face-to-face interview. The questions can be asked like that, like journalists and all. And last one, online survey method. Then access to the computer increases around the world. So does the online survey. So survey system online we can use through internet, WhatsApp, email system. After questionnaire, the second method of primary research we talk about is the focus group or consumer panel. Look at the definition of the consumer panel. It says the consumer panel is a group of customers are asked for feedback about products over a set period. So consumer panel is a business want very detailed information from customers. So it might use focus group or consumer panel. The focus group is where the number of customers are invited to attend a discussion led by the market researchers. The group must be representative of the whole population and be prepared to answer the detailed questions. This is a relatively cost-effective method of collecting information, but the group may be small to generalizing from the result may not be reliable. Sometimes imagine we are introducing a product for babies, a baby's product. For example, let's say you introduce some milk powder for babies, and they're like 1+, so Pedia Pro. So you can see that when you're introducing that new product to the market, you can call some target customers like mothers and fathers who prefer to they use that things, and you can call some about 10-15 people and you pay them for their time, and then you have to give them refreshments, everything, and then we have to introduce a product for them, give them some samples, and then ask them some questions and gather those informations directly from them. And that's called the focus group. The second one is observation. Observation is another thing, like these days a lot of people use observation like a CCTV cameras. Like when you enter into the supermarket or shopping mall, they are observing you, not for the security purpose. They are mainly for the marketing purpose. They are observing you. What are the areas would you like to spend more time? What are things that you're going to check? What are the time that you're going to spend those? Like what are the most of the people coming in what times? And what are the areas they're normally visiting? What are the sections most of the customers want to buy, like that. So according to that, they actually change all that, the shopping layouts, their shelves, everything they observe like that. And the last one on the market research, primary research, is test marketing. Test marketing. The test marketing, what we did actually involves selling a new product in a restricted geographical area, like not all over the country, not all over the world. It's only just a selected, like a sample, like a trial, like a product trial. So test marketing is like that, not national, not island wide, for a set period in a limited, restricted geographical area. You are going to sell it, and then you're going to get the feedback. If the feedback is positive, then you're going to launch it fully national. Why? Feedback is used to modify the product before the final launch, and this reduces the risk of failure. Okay, let's talk about the case study activity number 1, the Manzani Safari Tours. Manzani Safari Tours supervising trips in the Millennium Wildlife Sanctuary in Swaziland. So animals found in the park include the antelopes, crocodiles, giraffe, hippo, zebra, and so and so. So actually, this case, the reserves were actually reserved, and there are many vehicles and walking trails are there. However, visitor numbers to the park fell from 21,400 in 2014 to 9,400. You can see it's like a 50% down. So, however, the visitor number of the park fell from that one to that one. A survey was carried out. They want to find out what's the reason for this. One side safari tour using telephone interview and 1,000 telephone calls they have made, and then they chosen random from the list of potential customers provided the research agency. So about this 33.3, you can see this figure shows the key answers given by them for the questionnaires. So you can see their comments. They say, have you ever been to Manzani Safari Tour? They say yes, 7%, no, 93%. And second question was, have you ever been to any other safari tour? Yes, 61%, no, 39%. Would you go on Manzani safari tours, which was cheaper? Yes, 44%, no, 56%. Right? And have you ever seen advert in the Manzani safari tour? Yes, 7%, no, 93%. That's why I think I find out the lack of advertising. 93% say, no, I have never seen your advertisement. And would the holidays of Swaziland appeal to you too? Yes, 46, no, 54%, like that. These kind of things you can gather before you mention that thing. And also they mention Manzani Safari Tours has used primary research to gather information. They say the tours appear too strictly supervised. And that's another one reason. And there aren't any tigers in the park. Boring. And then I never heard of Swaziland. Okay, and it's too expensive. It would cost me and my family over 300 pounds to go for the day. So that's the thing. They are given some negative comments. What the main reason they behind their drop of the demand. So what is meant by primary research? Describe advantage and disadvantage. What's the difference between open question and closed question? Right? They're asking what are the reasons. Give at least two reasons. Okay, let's go to the discussion of that case study. So active number one, Manzani tours. You can see they say the Manzani tours. Definition of primary research. You can see Manzani Safari tours is carrying out primary research because the tour operator is collecting new information. So normally now in Edexcel questions there aren't any questions called what is meant by primary research. Some they ask one definition question called define mark primary research. Then you have to say, in this case you are not to apply, right? You don't need to apply that thing. So we can just say Manzani Safari tours is carrying out primary research because the tour operator is collecting new information that has never been collected before. So it is can see the that's how you define, right? And the second question, describe one advantage and one disadvantage using telephone survey. So this case you can see outline or analyze question, analyze advantage and disadvantage using telephone survey. So like many other business for this case, wait, Manzani tours. Yeah. Second question, telephone survey involves interviewing people over the telephone. The main advantage of interviewing people over the telephone is that it is cheaper. Yes, people from a wide geographical area can be covered. In this case, you get the application they have used. You can use the word called in this case, and the customers are spread all over the world. However, as evaluation point, you can see many people are becoming irritated by telephone interviews. That's a negative part of that. So good side is that one, but when you write a negative side, you can use the word however. Right? Telephone advantage is cheaper. The disadvantage of telephone service, however, it's irritated to some people. They don't like, reluctant and unwelcome and uninvited telephone, but they don't want to. They refuse to take part in interview. Second, the third question asking what is the difference between open question and the closed question in a survey. A good questionnaire will usually contain an appropriate balance closed and open questions. So open question means you can write anything that you want. Closed question is they are giving some yes/no questions. Yes/no questions we call closed questions. Open question means you can write anything you want, right? So yeah, so these are closed question always because yes, no, yes, no, yes, no only, right? Okay, the last question they say according to that what we can say about safari tour. 7% of the people in the survey they talk about the sanctuary in the advertising has fallen in recent years. Like 61% had been used safari tours. They suggest that you can see use the numbers. And there's a case study. If you given some percentages numbers, you can use it. You can 7%, 61%, 44% say they wish to be cheaper, and they always say it's too expensive. Their family says they spend over 300 pounds per day. Like that, when you have some details like this, please use that points in your answer. You can use it for 6 markers, 9 marker, and 12 marker. You can use it. That's for application, guys. So another possible reason with the visitors in numbers that the park advertising has not reached many people. Again, they support by the application. 7% only responded seen the advertisement in the website or somewhere. And then they say, I have never heard about the Swaziland. It's pathetic. Like they have to be very you have to famous your country, you have to advertise your country. That's why. And finally, they say some comments they have shown that they might suggest that other reasons of all visitors. This includes the tours appear to be supervised always, and there are no tigers. Attracting points are not there. However, unless a lot of people made similar comments, these may not be very important, right? So that's the end of this case study and everything of today. Talk about mainly the safari tour, this case study, and Sri Lankan tourism case study, and we talk about the mainly primary research method. We talk about the primary research methods such as the focus group, observation, test marketing, and the questionnaire thing, right? So okay, so we yeah, so that's in this video we talk about this in recording. We talk about the mainly primary market research method and the mainly purpose of market research. Identify the gaps, so identify the customer needs and wants, so identify the gaps and reduce the risk and inform the business decisions. So these are the main things that we talk about here under market research. So market research is really important. So in my second session, I'm going to talk about the mainly the secondary market research method and the especially the social media marketing and like important things that you're going to be in second session. So keep in touch with us. This is really important. The market research is really important part in the edXL examination and everything. So keep in touch with us in the next video. Okay, thank you. So.